Yes, hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the review of the exam, and we're going to see what happened, and whatever you did, we can have an honest conversation with that, and then see how it goes. How it goes. Hope you all are good, and so if you're live, just leave your name and also where you're watching from, and then we can have a chat about what happened. Just to a little bit go deep into it. Most of you guys, I was just trying to look through your comments on the group, and then also most people that texted me on YouTube, and also other people that I was having a conversation with them. Actually, most people actually said the exam was quite tough. So, but it's that's always normal. If I might say that in every year, actually, that's most people always say that. But still, of course, when the exam come out, people pass. That's the reality. But again, let's see how this year result is going to come out. Last year or the other year, the people have always been talking with them. It's always like challenging, but of course, we have always gotten few good results here and there, because actually, when you write the exam, you always have that feeling like, oh my god, this is challenging. I don't know how I'm going to make it. I remember the feeling when I wrote the exam. When I wrote the exam, the only thing I was saying, like, let me just wait for the result, because you always in that position that you feel like, okay, I'm going to pass, but what if I'm also on the situation that maybe I failed one or two wrong or whatsoever, those kind of things. So, but anyways, it's nice to hear from your own feedback, because it's not about how I wrote. It's nice to hear from you guys. Good time from Nigeria. I did the exam on Thursday. Okay, good. Thursday, you did the exam on Thursday. That's on the 30th. Then you did the exam on the 30th, which is yesterday. You don't mind me to contact you so that we can do something today where we you don't mind need to contact you so that we can do something today where I contact you. Yes, I think, are you new from here? Because I think most of the guys here have my email. If you want to contact me, you can always contact me through my email. And then I added you guys today. I don't know if you're in the WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp group. I added most of the guys there. So you can send me a message there also from the WhatsApp group. So I have two places that you can reach out to me. The WhatsApp group that the guys are, I'm the admin in that WhatsApp group. And then my email is always, let me drop it like this. Gmail.com. Go to brad9@gmail.com. Yes, okay, that's my that's my email. Can we have a Google Meet maybe tomorrow or anytime you're free? Well, yes, send me a message and then we can talk about that. Okay, we can talk about that later. So, guys, how was the exam and how do you guys feel? So, if you can drop always your comments, then I'm going to see. I'm going to see what you guys are writing there. We can talk more about it. But as I was saying, when I wrote the exam, you do always have that feeling that, oh my god, this is challenging. Then you start to, after the next day, you start to calculate, okay, what did I do right? Because I had multiple RSTP and FFAR, I was thinking, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Can I pass this one? Can I not pass this one? And most of my questions, because when I was talking to a few guys also, they had a lot of guys had scenario-based questions. The guys I've been talking to them, they had a lot of scenario-based questions, and they were like, it was tricky. And then they also guys giving certain decision, giving me certain topics that actually we spoke about here. So some guys also said the questions came. So a lot of things actually that we spoke about came, but I think most people also, the complaint also more is about like, okay, maybe I didn't prepare well, maybe now I have a feeling of how the exam is. Okay, how am I going to tackle the exam if I don't make it? All those kind of things. Those are the things that maybe you can be having conversation with yourself about. But again, it's not so about it's not to complain. This is a self-reflection. You have to look at if you don't make it, or for those who make it, that's good preparation. You did well. For those who don't make it, then it's about looking at what to do, what to improve on, and then how to go again. Because the reality is, to be a FIFA agent is tough. To be a FIFA agent is tough. But when you make it, guys, as I explained to you guys, when you make it, it's totally something different. I think maybe I don't know. So I have to put myself a little bit. Guys, just one moment. Oh, I'm trying to fix my camera. Why is it? Okay. Yes. Okay. But yes, as I was saying, to be a FIFA agent is tough. And when you have that license, then you have to really go for. You have to really go for it, because I'm saying with experience that I've been in the industry, and most of the guys that what you are doing, you have taken the exam. Most of the guys I've had conversation with, they don't have license. So sometimes you meet an agent, the person, but he leans behind more of someone who have an agent, who have the license, something like that. Then you start to have a conversation with him. Then you discover that, hey, do you have your license? He say no. He's just working with someone. He doesn't have his license, but this is what he's doing. He's just helping that person, so that when a deal happens, he gets. Let's take for example, he gets a certain percentage, but that can only take you so far. That's why I always tell you guys that no, your best thing is to have your license, because the idea is when you have your license, you can decide anything. You can decide to say, okay, I'm representing this player. I am not representing this player. So that's the idea. But if you don't have your license, then you always have to listen to someone. Say, okay, we are representing this player based on that person's decision. So it's a massive gap. But a lot of people, I have to be honest with you guys, a lot of people in the industry, they don't have their licenses. They don't have licenses. And I've been in conversation with people, and I know how the industry operates, and the way the people are trying to operate. They try to operate, as I said, rely on people. But those are the things I will not advise you guys to go for, because it's always good to make a decision for yourself rather than depend on people. Because when you depend on someone, that person can get up one day and say, "Oh, I don't want to continue with you as an agent in this industry. It would be nice if look for someone. I'm trying to go into different direction." So all these kind of things happen a lot, and this I'll give you an example of this. Um, there used to be a friend of mine that he gave me this knowledge. Let's take, for example, the year he was writing first, the year he was writing, he said he met this guy that they were having conversation saying that, okay, if I pass the exam, because most people in the year we wrote, we used to write in a center. So you guys will gather and go to that center and write. So the guy was saying that when he had this conversation with another agent that they met at the center, and he said, okay, guy, do you know what? If I pass the exam, then you don't make it, we're going to join and form a company. But if you pass, I don't make it, we're going to join and form a company, okay? So guess what? He failed. The friend I know failed. Then the other person passed. And because after 1 week, the result came. After 1 week, that the result has already come out, because the result used to come out after 1 week. He called that person and they spoke on how to arrange to meet and then start to be the agency. And do you know what that guy told him? That sorry, that person told him that I'm sorry. I want to go in a different direction. I need certain people to work with. I'll think about putting you. That's just life. That's how life is. Okay. But well, I'm not saying that maybe if you want to work with someone that is going to happen, but I'm just trying to give you guys certain information that at least put that at the back of your mind, that your license is your license. You decide how you can, what you want to do and what you don't want to do. But let's look at some of your questions here and see. Let's see what happened. I appreciate all your help before the exam. Brian, it was extremely hard. Did give 50%. This question did give 50%. Okay. Mm, it was extremely hard. Yeah, I can imagine. So, what was your question? Did you have RSTP, a lot of RSTP or question, or what were you having like this question-based scenario, like a lot of questions that come from RSTP, then they try to make it's a little bit longer, and then for you to read the question before you read it and try to digest it, it's maybe your time has gone. And just from what he said, yeah, you guys remember I was also saying something here, like the challenge of the exam is even more. You have what we call the timing of the exam, the timing, and after the timing, even just to read one question, you always in certain mode that, let's say, a little bit of a panic mode. And I would say, if most people, if you guys didn't prepare well, we have to have an honest conversation for if you prepared well or if you didn't prepare well. But let's look at this scenario. You discover, I think if you didn't prepare well, you will discover something in the exam that you cannot use the book. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, because if you cannot use the book, I mean, if you didn't prepare, let me say that elite level preparation. What do I mean elite level preparation? I mean like reading the study material very well and everything. The book will be challenging, to be honest, because you don't know where to start, and because there's no time, you start to feel like, oh, let me just answer my questions based on what I know of heard. So those were the things that, due to speaking to a lot of people and also facing the exam with experience, then I knew that okay, this thing is challenging also. Thank you for that. Okay, thank you for that. For the exam, let me another person. Okay, let's look at Abubakar. What Abubakar is saying. For the exam was nice, but what challenged me is the options that says select one or more, but it's not the difficult. But it's not the difficult. It's not difficult, but it's confusing only if the answer as to the select one or more. Yeah, the fact that they say select one or more doesn't mean the answer must be more or this. It's just that kind of question. Let's take for example, if they say select one, the thing there is that you already have an idea that is just one. But if they say select one or more, of course, now you are in that stage that you don't know if the answer is just one or it's more. So I understand you there very well. But in an exam, if they even say select one or more, it doesn't mean that you understand. So you have to just try to do what you can do best. But again, I will still be saying that for you taking the exam, you have done lots. You have done a lot than others who are not even taking the exam, because there are many people also who are not taking the exam who just try to rely on other people. So for those who make it and for those who don't make it, it's still like, if you make it, then good, you can start already entering the industry and try to work your build your network and do stuff. If you don't make it, still you already have an idea of what this exam is all about. That's a big thing, because then now you're going there with experience, you're knowing what to prepare. I think I made a video today and I was saying how I prepared. It's the same thing I've been telling you guys here, because the idea was, for me, I didn't have any other option, to be honest. I did, let's say, I studied sport management at the university, okay, in Finland, yeah. So I have a business background. So I was thinking, so I think I've told you guys this story a lot, yeah. But my idea was thinking like, hey, I didn't want to be a coach. I wanted to become an agent. But that also came because I had traveled around and discovered how cool it was to be an agent. So I started thinking like, okay, the best way for me was to be an agent, because by then I was doing my UFSA license. And when I was doing my UFSA license, I was already working with a club. I had to abandon that because FIFA sent me an information. I had to abandon that, say, no, I'm switching. I want to become an agent. And it was only the only plan I had, my plan A. I didn't have any other plan to do any other thing, because I felt like to be a licensed agent, guys. is the most coolest thing in the world. That's how I felt. I felt like that. I felt it's the most coolest thing in the world because, take for example, you travel, you get to sit in stadiums, mm, watch games. You are not the one playing. Watch games, sign people, and then money enters your bank account. Who doesn't like that kind of life? Let's just be honest. So that was the thing. That was my desire, saying that okay, because I don't want. I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be cool if I pass this, just to travel around, talk to people, see scouts, because it's just about your brain, do things like that. But the other part is because I had options to become a coach and also being paid well, but I didn't want to become a coach, as I said. Well, I didn't want to just go sit, train people, come back, go to the same location. And so I didn't feel that vibes to be, again, doing that thing that I will not have holiday. I will not have a holiday, that I will not have the ability to travel around. So that was my motivation. I don't know what you guys may have a different motivation, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of how, when you pass your license and you get things right, how it can be. And in this industry, just one player can change everything. Eh? If you have a player who goes for, let's take for example, you have a player who goes for, let's take for example, a young player. You can work with a young player. That player goes for 2 million. And let's take for example, you had representation agreement. You had 10%. Let's take for example, because now the industry is not capped. I hope you guys know that it's not capped. So you can still have that amount of 10% commissioning. That many people do have that, or like as I said, in Brazil, people have 7% commissioning, or in other places. But what if you had 10% commission? Let's give an example. So you calculate that commission of, let's say, 2 to 3 million. How much is going to get into your bank account? So it changes your life completely. So you see, but of course you have to do it. We are here for, let me say, because you enjoy football. But of course, the money is one thing that also, because it's a lucrative business, that also makes people feel like, oh, this job is a nice job. But of course, you have to also love the game, because for you to move around, sit in stadiums, watch games, pay hotels, and stay there, you have to be able to love the game to be able to do those moves. Let's see. For the exam, let's see. It was nice, but okay, let's look at another person. I had my exam yesterday. Arthur, you had your exam yesterday. I hope you did. How did it go? Let's see. And then you say another question. Another person is, I got a question on media which I never came across when I was studying on media. So can you tell us what was the question about on media? Let's see. Let's see. Can I pin this message? No, 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 no. I got a question on media. Let's see. Question activity. Put in the short. I doesn't. Wow. Okay. I'll be waiting to hear the question you had on media and how did it go. And then also let's look at another question. Brian, I did the exam. Okay, let's say. Brian, I did the exam, but my study material wasn't opening. It was loading non-stop. So questions that I flagged to be able. No, it was loading non-stop. So the questions that I flagged to be able to use the study material. Okay, that's challenging. And let's take, for example, these things also. Let me say, last year, a lot of people complain about and there was a strike last year. If I recall very well, there were some people complaining about FIFA that the exam was having a lot of technical error, because last year was the first year they did the system that you people have to sit home and write in your various location. So last year was the first year. So if you have problem, then still the system is not really functioning 100%. So let's see what they have to come out and say. Because if you say then you had multiple problems, then let's see what they say this time. Because last year a lot of people wrote and people were complaining to FIFA that they had technical errors. Many people didn't sit the exam because technical issues or not. And from what I'm listening and what I was reading from you guys or other guys is there's no clear path to even tell you guys that okay, this is how you go through before you start the exam. So I think those are the things that also FIFA will be trying to look into to say if they can adjust it. But as I said, it's a new system and probably they are making mistakes, but they are just trying to change this model to start it because they don't want people to travel and go again, travel going to one location and sit in a room and write the exam. I don't think they want that model anymore. Okay, let's see something here. I feel like okay, and someone said in the ball business group chat as well, and some people experience the same issues that I faced. Okay, I don't know what is ball business group chat as well. Okay, but probably it must be a group chat somewhere else. Okay, so yes, so it's common. Some people will experience the same issues that I face. So it shows that it's a common issue. But well, let's see how result and everything comes out. Because normally in the first time when you write, let me say, of course, when you write the exam, the first thing is you feel a little bit, you have that feel a little bit of fear, thinking that oh my god, this I'm not going to make it or whatsoever. But let's see it comes out. I think June 4th or June 6th, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Let's see how it goes, and then let's see what people make of it. So, and someone said, how many percentage did you get when you wrote the exam? And is it possible to get exactly 75%? When I wrote the exam, with the exam, when you pass, you don't see the percentage, you don't see that. But if you fail, you're going to know, they're going to tell you what you failed. So when you pass, the way the result just comes, it is you just see congratulations, you've passed, and then now you can pay that license to start operating as an agent. But when you fail, what happens is FIFA is going to tell you that unfortunately you have failed, and this is what is and those that if you when you log in now, you're going to see. I'm just saying based on what we used to see. When you log in now, you're going to see the questions you failed and the answers the ones you fail. So they don't show you the answer you made. You pass. They just show you only the questions you fail. So normally the year I wrote, that's 2014, because I was communicating with so many friends. There's one of my friends who lives in the city. The friend that I said failed. So when I passed he failed. He was sending me the questions. Yeah, the questions that made him fail. And actually he failed six. He failed six. He had 14 because we had analyzed all his questions. They were right. And then the six that he failed exam that we thought it might go one way or the other. He failed because of those six, and he was sending me the questions that FIFA had sent to him that this is what he failed. But unfortunately, he got discouraged, and because he felt the exam was challenging, he got discouraged and he never wrote again. Yeah. How many percentage did you? And to answer a question, you said, did you get how many percentage did you get to get I think I already answered the question. No, so remember, you cannot see when you pass, you cannot see your answers. I mean, the percentage you have passed. But if you fail, you're going to get the numbers that you failed. So that's it. Is the question for me or Brian? We have the same motivation, Brian. I want to make it a full-time job to connect, network, and travel around the world to meet sporting directors and clubs, etc. Yeah, that's nice to hear. Normally, as I said, I only knew this when I went at gone. I said that when I'd gone for travels, and then I discovered that because I didn't have an idea about it, because you know till you do something sometimes, then you feel like, oh, this is nice. But when I started traveling, then let's say speaking to players or players' parents, trying to talk to them to bring them to my agency, and then that also helped me also because I was building my network. When you travel, you build your network. Then I started learning how to interact, doing face-to-face networking, seeing how things are done. And sometimes in the job, you only learn because there are only two ways. It's either you learn by yourself or you learn also by joining an agency. Some people have like there's this guy who posts also things a lot of things on YouTube with Samu. What when I passed the license, Samu, because it's an agent who works with Entourage. When I passed the exam, he was the first person I reached out to, and I said, "Hey, Samu," because he has been in the industry for that long. I was saying, "Hey, Samu, what's up? Mm, what advice can you give me so that I can be able to go into the industry?" I remember him. Let's see. Let me just look at my Instagram phone. What he was saying. Just a moment. I want to look because it was nice to really listen to those advice because I was like that ready to go, and I was trying to meet people who have been there and they have done it. So let's go straight to his message. Okay, Samu. I don't know if you guys can see my phone. Okay, this guy Samu. Yes, that was the guy I contacted. This my yeah. So when I reached out to him, and let's say the message he said. mm, 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 mm. I said, "Hello, Samu. I hope you're doing great. I suppose after passing my license to become an official agent, what advice can you give me since you are already in the field so I can crack on? Your advice will be appreciated since I see you already doing a good job." So, yes, that was what I wrote to Samu. And then Samu went, "Hi, Brian, thanks. I have a video on YouTube with what to do. Once you pass the exam, it's not easy, unfortunately. So the best thing is to shadow someone that knows the game." So that was his advice, that let me try to, if I can, let me say what he means by if I can be with a company that already knows how the industry functions, then I can be, then I go from there. Then it's also one advice he also advised me was, he said, "Great, check John Vola Academy. He can put you through." John Vola is also an established agent, top agent that sells players for millions and whatsoever. So 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 when I spoke to Samu, then another person I spoke to, one person also, Kinga Biodon. I forgot. Yes, this person. I spoke to another person. This one, Biodon. So he's an agent. So those are the people I was trying to reach out to. So I'm just trying to explain to you guys how things function. So he gave me a long page. He really gave me some good advice. So many notes. Yeah, so I had to read a lot of his message that he was giving, and so I was quite happy that he gave me a little bit of actionable advice here. When so he said, "Hello, Brian. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for reaching out. Congratulations on starting your journey as a football agent. It's an exciting and rewarding field. Here are a few pieces of advice that I believe can help you grow and succeed in this industry." So he said, build strong relationships. Success in the industry relies heavily on trust and connections. Develop relationship with players, club coaches, and scouts, and always maintain integrity in your dealings. So no shady business. Then he said, know the market, stay up to date with football markets, including players' value, transfer trends, and club needs. Knowledge is power when negotiating deals or pitching players. Prioritize your players. He said, prioritize your players. And he said also, representing players means taking their career and well-being seriously. Understand their strengths, goals, needs to help them reach their full potential. So he gave me actually a very long message. But I was happy. I was happy that I got this advice from him, Samu, and I mean him and Samu. Then last person that I was that we had a conversation that I knew. Oh, I'm doing something was John Viola, the guy that I said he was a top. We follow each other on LinkedIn. So when he reached out to me, he said he was asking me how long have I been in the industry, and I said 1 year something. 1 year something because I got my license in 2024, and he was surprised about my idea and the knowledge. And he, of course, we had a conversation. He was saying, okay, you have to say, let me just keep going the way I'm going. But it's what I'm just trying to cut this story short because it's just about you. I'll come back to your messages. What I took from all from John's message and all Samu and Kingabio, all those people were like, when you're at the right path doing something, you're going to feel, let me say, a little bit of people, the things that are coming your way. You're going to start feeling that. So it was just like motivation for me to keep going and saying that okay, because my method, I never actually met someone that or I didn't really feel I wanted to go with under someone's agency. I felt deeply in me that my background is sport management, then learning how to learn to do networking helped me a lot. I felt like I could speak to people because, as I told you guys, I read a lot of books. My table here is full with books. I read a lot of books like this to teach me networking and everything. So I felt those things gave me an advantage. Like I know how to send an email to a football club. Let's take for example, I know how to approach people, which is about relationship, and I know how to maintain conversation. Those were the things I was feeling like if I can do this, then it's more easy. If I can approach people, speak to them, then I know how to keep that conversation going. Then at one point in time, I'm going to get my players into clubs. That was just the way I felt, and it was nice feeling also to hear from those people. So let's jump back into your messages. Passion, I can't go day without football. Football is my passion. I can't go. Then you have a good then you have a good thing there because if you can't go day without football, then that's also your motivation. I'm talking to Mega Modu. Is it Mega Modu something? Yeah. That's also your motivation because at least you have a passion for the game. Then when you have your license, it will be easy wherever you are. If you start scouting players and documenting them, because what I always do is, let's take for example, when I go scout players, if someone is 13, 14 years, I just put down 13, 14 years, try to put his stats, everything. I have a place that I document them so that I have an idea of how the player is doing. I also have his stats. Each year I try to take his stats and put so that, excuse me, when I'm talking to clubs, I already have an idea of the player I'm talking about, everything details. And then I think there was a video I uploaded. I said also a lot of agents when they're already in the industry, when they're negotiating with people. I mean, when they're calling clubs, what I discovered that is challenging is that they don't even know the first 22 players in that squad. So this is just a little bit of advice to you guys. If you want to even work with clubs easily, let's take for example, let's take for example, if we're here and then you told me that, hey Brian, I have this player, I want you to help me with this player. Let me just give an example. And then I saw that player is a top player, and then I want to assist you. I'm just giving an example. The first thing is when we analyze that player and see the quality of the player. Now, if I have to go to the market, I have to know the players in that squad that I have to say I'm trying to sell that player to. The reason I have to know the player is these players is because if you know what that club is all about, it's easy to speak to the sporting director. It's easy to draft a message saying that, let's take for example, if the player is a winger, let's take for example, hey, I see you're lacking depth in this position, and the winger you have, he doesn't play regularly, so you play a midfielder or an offensive midfielder in that position. So this will be giving me vital details that I'll be telling the sporting director that he sees that actually I've done a homework on the team. But when you go generically, how most people just go, that they just go like, hey, this agent from this agency, I got my license, blah blah blah. I am I have this striker or this winger that scores 15 goals. That they don't respond to your messages. Why? Because it's all about you. It shows that you haven't done anything about their club. You haven't researched. You haven't done anything. So most of the time, you're never going to get a response. But when you contact people with respond with what their problem is, they are likely to respond always. Okay, let's see. So talking to, is it Mega Modo? I don't know the names here. I didn't see the names, but anyways, I probably you're going to know the person knows who I'm speaking to. So if you have a passion, that's even more better because at least that is going to drive you more. And then let's see, the next person is the question on media. Okay, the question on media said, can a food agent release a personal client information? Options were, what are the options? So guys, let's say we don't want to answer. Well, good, you're letting us know the question, but I don't want us to answer questions here because at least let's just have a conversation and talk about different things. Because if we start answering questions here, then it start making people. For one, if I write an exam, I don't want people to answer questions for me because I start feeling like, oh, I failed this, oh, I've done this, oh, I've done this. I just want to always wait and see my result. But I don't know how you guys are, but that's the way I always feel. But let's see the next. But I'm hopeful that I will pass regardless of the issue. We will see how everything pans out in by June 4th. Yeah, let's hope for the best. And I'll be waiting for you guys in WhatsApp group, and I hope everything goes well. And you have your license. As I said, it's a cool thing to have your to work as an agent then, because then you can start talking to people yourself and then bringing players to your agency and then thinking of placing them at football clubs. And then even if I fail, which I hope not, we go again next year and prepare properly. That's the thing. Yes, if you fail, then you have to go. You have to plan well and prepare properly. As I said, I did a course. I don't know if I've told you guys yet. I think I said it, but I did a course because I just felt like, oh, I want to pass this thing. If I can meet someone who had the experience or the what the experience to push to just give me an extra marks. But again, I think this also comes down to how badly we want it, and maybe some of us also have maybe other options. Some people probably, I don't know, getting your license might not be, maybe you might have other things already doing that you might say, I don't need to prioritize to get a course. That also can be fine. But for me, getting my license was just the thing I wanted. I wanted to represent players because I felt like it's a lifestyle that I wanted. But also, people are different. Someone may have maybe his light side hustle doing somewhere else that he wants to do that, and he sees that maybe if this agent thing work or it don't work, he's still verifying with that. But for me, I didn't have that. I didn't want to have any plan B for that. I just wanted to have my license. So I wanted to get every best. I wanted to put myself in every best situation on passing the exam. So how many? Let's see. How many? I think most of you. I think how many RSTP? Did you guys have a lot of RSTP or FFAR? I think most of you guys, you must have discovered that you had a lot of RSTP or FFAR. But I think also probably the questions will be like scenario-based questions that they give you an RSTP, but you have to still read a lot and everything to try to find the answer, or probably you have to use your brain more. And while using your brain, time has already gone. I think most of the things that I heard from people was just like that. I got a question on what happens when a football agent gets employed by the association development executive committee, and the options were select one or more. They will violate article. Does They'll violate Article 5 of the RSCP. B, if the member association allows it, okay. C, if FIFA allows it, then it's fine. And D, FIFA will investigate if they are eligible. Okay. So what do you think? But well, do we answer your questions? We don't need to. I don't want to answer. Let's not look at questions here. Let's just go have a conversation. Yeah, that's the issue. You have to think hard because of the scenario, and it burns through time. The questions were not straightforward. Yeah, that's how they. That's just the reality about the exam. Because when you're writing the exam, the questions don't come straight. That's the fact. That's just as you guys have seen. The questions don't come like, hey, what is representation agreement? Those can come few, but most of the questions you face, as you guys saw already, they don't ask you what is a bridge transfer, what is this in, what is probation period, or something like that. They will ask you something. They will ask you questions that you have to read, interpret it, just to get your brain worked up. So those are the questions. Those are how the questions. Those that's how FIFA actually sets the exam normally. So that's how most of the questions are going to come, scenario-based questions. As we spoke here earlier, you hardly see those easy questions that what is this, and you get it. Of course, you can get those questions few. You can get few of them, but it will be rare for you to always have those kind of questions. And let's say, for example, okay, and when results comes out, let's say you make it, you already have to start thinking of how you are going to work, how you're going to set up your agency and everything like that. So those are the things that you have to start thinking of. If it doesn't happen, you have to already start thinking of how to plan to pass the exam. Those are the two steps that you have to put in mind. Of course, I know your brain, you need some some relaxation after studying for some time, but you need to try to like put more effort to go again. So those are just the ideas. Those are the things that you have to put your energy and focus to on. And I also discovered I think from also listening from you guys, I think the time pressure I think you must have discovered that the time pressure was high because you're answering just a single question and discover how fast it's going. I mean how fast the time was going. So those are the things that actually make the exam tough. It's not actually, I think the exam is tough, but people could handle it very well. But because the time looks very short for 20 questions, it's almost like, how do I put it? It's almost like something that it's almost like they are trying to get you past something that you might know, but trying to challenge you based on time, how fast you can answer that thing, how fast you can answer the exam. Okay, yes, this is the perfect statement. The exam is being set on how fast you can answer it, because I think most of those questions there, if they give you 1 hour 30 minutes, probably you're going to answer those questions very well because you're going to take your time and you're going to even have a time to look the study materials. But I don't just know why FIFA, I don't know. Probably if they put more time there, they're not going to put any study material there. But I don't know why the exam is set up like this. But I guess FIFA will say if other people have been passing the exam, then you have to do it as well this way. So, but if you look at this also, I think you guys must have analyzed everything now, that you have to look at yourself also in the mirror and say, did I prepare well? Did I give myself everything to make it to the exam? I mean, to pass the exam. Those are the things that you also have to look at. Say, hey, did I prepare well? Did I rely on maybe cramming or doing other methods of preparation? So those are the things that after let's say after the results are out, you have to look at it and say, hey, okay, what did I do wrong? If I did well, then good. If I didn't do well, then you go more harder. So don't become like, even if it's challenging, don't become like that my friend that because I won't advise that my friend, I had a friend, as I told you, I have a friend that he's not more writing again. Don't become like him because he said he's no longer writing anymore, which it doesn't leave anyone in any, it doesn't leave any person in any good position, because if you don't write anymore, then probably you're going to change career. That's just the idea. Yeah, let's see. Retracted. Yeah, that's the issue. You have to think hard because of the scenario, and it burns through time. And questions were not straightforward. Yeah, the exam questions were are never straightforward. I have to tell you that. No, the idea is always trying to make you think more. As I said, it cannot be straightforward, and you have to. Well, let's say deal with that. Okay, guys. So let's look at as I said, this will be the last, let me say, things on FIFA Agent Exam. We'll start looking at different things, network, different topics on how to maybe build your network, do different things. So today was just about revision of the exam, how you feel, and let's talk about that. And what's your idea? Was it challenging? All those things. But the main thing here will be, we'll start looking ahead how because how to build, how to continue building your network, all those other topics those are the things that I will start bringing back to the channel. Because before, I used to do that live, but I just said it was better, let me focus on you guys so that we do more of this exam situation, so that at least you can have an idea how to prepare. So now that the exam is over, we will start doing this also probably another time in future, but now I'll continue with networking, scouting players, any other general topic that involves general football, that we can have a conversation with it and grow and find other options. That what, let's take for example, ways to be in the industry and ways to move forward. If I have an idea of those things, we're going to talk about all those topics here. How to contact sporting director, all those things. Probably you can get an idea and learn all those things. So sometimes at one point in time, I'll try to bring also materials and show you probably how to do it in future. So those are the things that we'll be talking on here. But apart from that, if not, then if you have any question, you can ask and we can go. But if not, then probably we can also round up, and then our next video we start bringing, I think our next video next week, Wednesday or Monday, but I'm going to put it on YouTube. We can start now doing proper networking and all those topics I've been mentioning. Any question, guys? Now let's say we just have to wait and hope that at least you pass, you make your exams. Let's see. No question. Okay, guys, if no question, then let's see. We'll start doing, as I said, we start doing different topics on networking and other things, so that at least we can start building from there. Then how scout players and all those interviews, are interview CEOs, sporting directors, coaches, and all those people. We can always talk about here and how to do those things. Okay, guys. But anyways, if no question, then when you passed the exam, okay, one question. When you pass the exam, did the email say the result? They say the result in the email title or inside. You're going to know exactly. You are going to know exactly just from the email. So the way the email comes, it's congratulations. Just from the, how do they call it, subject. So let's say, you know how you open your emails. If you click on, if an email comes, that first line that you always see, you know whether you're passed or not, because that first line always comes, congratulations. But let me see, while we're talking, let me just go to my email. Let's see if I can find that thing. I want to find how my email came. Let me just type FIFA and see. This is longer. This is 2024. But let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find how that email came. Or if I don't find it, let me scroll. Okay, November 2024. Let's see. Oh, when was the time? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's start to look. I'm starting to look now. Okay, I'm at the place. I'm starting to look. Okay. I'm just going to screenshot. I'm going to just, can I copy this? Let's see. Yes, I can copy it. Congratulations, you have reached the final stage of the license process for football agent license. In order to complete your license. Okay. Okay, this is how the message came. So I got my message. That was on a Wednesday, yes, perfectly. So it arrived at 5:38 p.m. So let's go. This is how the message, this is what you will see. Put there. Why is it not going? Let's see. So much quick. Accept. Okay, so many words. Well, I'm going to paste it gradually. Let's see, you guys see. I want to. Okay, let me copy again. That was too much. Let's. Okay. No. 11. Okay. So that was the message that I got. Congratulations, you have reached the final stage of the licensing process for the football agent license. In order to complete your application process, you must complete the payment of the license. So that was how my message came. And so this word, before you read the email, you're just going to see that congratulation word there. So that's how it comes. So and if you don't, let's take for example, you're going to if you don't see that, you're going to see instead of congratulations, you're going to see something like unfortunate, something like that, something like that. So those are the things that you're going to see. Okay, guys. So any question? If none, again, then we start to look forward to other things. So just before I go, just message. So what was I think, as I used to say here in the group, I used to say here when I was teaching you guys that most of the questions that were going to come will be RSTP, FFAR, most of them. So what did you guys find? I think now if you discover that most of the questions were like RSTP, FFAR, of course scenario based, but RSTP and FFAR. So what did you guys find? Was it that 70 and 30%? I think you are going to find out that most of the questions are always based on RSTP and FFAR. Of course, you're going to have, so you might have safeguard, you might have FIFA clearinghouse, you might have all those things, but most of the questions are going to be RSTP and FFAR. Okay, if not question, no question anymore, guys. Okay, so next video we're going to talk about what are the subjects I mentioned. I'm going to update you guys, or I'm going to always put it on the YouTube channel so that you guys can see. Okay, so no question that we have to we see next live session and then start to do that again. So take care, but it was nice to have this conversation with you guys, and then let's see how it goes from there. We'll all be expecting good things in June. Let's hope for the best. So take care and talk to you in another video, okay? So bye for now. Yes, I appreciate Brian. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, take care, guys, and see you in another video. Take care. Cheers.